Hello, everybody. I do believe we are live streamed. So we are live streaming right now, and I'm sneakily at letting our catch-all cat, Kendall, is slipping in here just because she's hopping in, and we will see Hey, Kendall, how you doing?
Good. How is everybody?
Good, good, good. We have Pam Johnson-Bennett here as well as Trisha Montgomery. And Kendall is our new catch-all cat here at the Community Cats podcast. So it's an opportunity to just introduce her and say hello. Kendall will be she'll either be here with us, she'll be popping in and out. She's watching multiple devices so that if there are folks out there putting comments out there in Facebook, I might not have to look at them and she might throw them in the chat for us if there's questions from our audience. Because sometimes I have a hard time keeping track of things. So, for those of you who don't know, and I'm under like the dome of light here tonight, I'm in very dark Vermont and very cold Vermont. So, I'm huddled here by the light and the good Wi Fi pocket that I have. And I am Stacy LeBaron. I am the host and head cat here at the Community Cats podcast. This is the place where we turn your passion for cats into action. And so I love, love, love talking with folks who are really making a change for cats in all ways, shapes, and forms across the country and actually around the world. My theme for 2024 is going to be see it, solve it. So if you see a problem, you see an issue, you need to make a change, you are empowered to solve it. So that is the message that I want to bring. And we're here to help you find those creative solutions in order to elevate the status of cats in your community, turn your passion for cats into action, and just be like the awesome, loving cat people that you are. So I don't do Facebook Lives that often. I may try to do more in 2024, but I do love my Facebook Lives that I have with Pam Johnson-Bennett. I think this is our third, Pam. Is
I
this?
don't know where it this is we have a long-term relationship.
Is that what happens when it's the third date? Is that what that means?
Yeah, I think it's a relationship now. I love community cats. I love everything that you do.
Well, and as I said, see it, solve it is a theme for tonight because you got started in feline behavior. You know, you saw an issue, you saw a problem, you saw something out there many years ago, and I won't say how many, but you saw a problem and you solved it. For folks that aren't knowledgeable about the work that you do, could you first just share a little bit about your feline behavior work that you do?
Sure, I've been doing this for over 40 years, and I started out because I was the problem. I was doing everything wrong and had to figure out what I was doing and realized there wasn't a lot of information. There was next to nothing out there back in the Stone Ages. And so this has become it was an accidental career, but it is my passion now. So I do consultations, I write, I do speaking engagements, and it's all centered around just helping people have the relationship with cats that they wanted, because nobody adopts or rescues a cat hoping that it's going to just fall apart and be a horrible relationship. So, and it really comes down to miscommunication. Cats, even though they're so popular, they still are a mystery. People don't know a lot about them. So I just feel my job is to be their interpreter and their, the middle person.
I think I met you maybe 5 years ago in person in Boston, but boy, back in the 90s, you were my best friend because you were like there for me when I was triaging surrender calls. I was reading all of your books. My favorite ones back then were the little books. You've heard this before, but I share publicly to everyone Hiss and Tell, Psycho Kitty, these little books that were very small, and I bought them wholesale so that I could give them out to folks so that they would be able to give me 2 weeks with Pam Johnson. Give Pam 2 weeks. That's what I would say. Pam wants you to spend an extra 2 weeks on this with, to save this cat, to keep this cat in your home. And I was giving those books away left and right. And they saved a lot of cats, and a lot of cats were able to stay in their homes because of everything that you were doing way back in those 90s.
Well,
By the
cats are
way,
so tolerant. They're so when I look at the situations, I see, gosh, they're so forgiving and so tolerant of our clumsy attempts at understanding them.
so, and I will say happy birthday, Pam.
Thank you. Leave it at that.
just to make sure we have that covered. And then we have a campaign that you've been involved with now for several years, and it is with Arm& Hammer. And would you be willing to share a little bit about Feline Generous?
Yes, I've been involved with Arm& Hammer's Feline Generous program for 3 years now, and the latest one that they did was in honor of National Animal Shelter Appreciation Week, which was the first week of last month, November, and they partnered with TikTok and 3 of the very popular cat content creators to do something humorous to highlight the perfectly imperfect cats in shelters who are waiting for their forever homes. And perfectly imperfect cats are the ones who are often overlooked because of age or appearance, medical issues, or maybe misunderstood behaviors. A lot of cats get surrendered to shelters for behaviors which very, very often are correctable. So they created these humorous videos, and the 3 shelters, to thank the 3 shelters that were involved, Arm & Hammer Feline Generous donated $10,000 to each of them. And something wonderful happened that was unexpected. One of the cats, Harold, a senior cat, got adopted. So I
Ooh.
love it. So I just wanted to say the names of the shelters who won, because, shelters just don't get enough credit for what they do. But it was the Tuscaloosa Metro Animal Shelter in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Rafiki's Rescue in Anaheim, California, and Mary S. Roberts Pet Adoption Center in Riverside, California. So it's such a wonderful campaign. And Arm & Hammer Feline Generous, it is a program to bring awareness to the shelters, the cats who are in these shelters, the perfectly imperfect cats, hoping to inspire people, if you're thinking about adopting, to maybe consider a cat who's older than you were planning on adopting, or one that has a physical disability or a misunderstood behavior. And these cats, especially, like if you're looking for a cat who just wants to be a lap cat, oh my gosh, a senior cat, how perfect, because that they just want to curl up in your lap and be with you. So I encourage people, and I'm very, very proud and honored to be associated with Feline Generous, to just highlight these cats. They deserve loving homes.
So, the proud mother that I am, and I know you have kids too, somewhat in the same age as mine. My son, who's 20, went to the Brooklyn Cat Cafe, and
Ah,
and he adopted Honey, who is 15 and a half years old, hyper
wonderful.
hyperthyroid, and has a heart murmur, and she bosses him around all day long.
Oh, and I bet he loves every moment of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
They asked him at the adoption center, they said, "Why, you're a young guy. Why would you ever want to adopt an older kitty?" And he said, "I don't know where I'm going to be or what I want to do 5 years from now, but I know right now I want the companionship of a cat, and she needs companionship. So I'll be there with her during her twilight years."
You raised him right. You raised him right. Yes. But, they have 15 and a half years, that cat still has so much love to give.
Yep.
So just when you're at the shelter, I know, very often we go there and we want the perfect little kitten or the perfect cat, but consider these perfectly imperfect cats, because they're amazing. I do a lot of shelter evaluations, and I'm in shelters all the time, and these cats are amazing, and they
Yep.
need their forever homes. And when you do that, you free up space for another cat, so the shelters are good. So it's amazing. And I did want to mention, Arm & Hammer Feline Generous is doing a end of year giveaway. So it's got a real tight deadline for everybody out there. But if you adopted a perfectly imperfect cat from a shelter, go to armandhammer.com/feline generous and upload a photo and tag your shelter. And Arm & Hammer is going to be giving away $5,000 to those shelters. And you'll get a year's supply of, if you win, you'll get a year's supply of Arm & Hammer cat litter. So it's a last minute thing. You've got to get it in by midnight on Friday, December 8th. But it's a great opportunity to reward a shelter with much needed money, and get some cat litter for yourself.
Fantastic. Excellent. Lastly, Pam, you'll be speaking at Online Behavior Day in April of 2024. And I know your favorite topic is litter box issues
I have no choice. It gets it gets hoisted upon me on a daily basis. But yes, I love creating solutions for people. So because a lot of times, as you probably know, cats get relinquished, as I said before, for behavior issues that could be resolved. And it seems like litter box issues that's the deal breaker. We can handle a cat who hides under the bed or meows all the time, but when the cat is peeing on the sofa or on the carpet, we're done. So litter box issues is a big issue, and really just misunderstanding behavior in general. I want there to be better communication between cats and the people who love them.
And here at the Community Cats podcast for shelters, we have with Dr. Rachel Geller a surrender prevention certification program to help with feline behavior training for those frontline folks to be able to triage the surrender calls and be able to redirect people to the resources that they can access and get to help prevent having that cat being surrendered to the shelter for a situation like the litter box is covered. So
and she has wonderful solutions, and she is a great communicator, and her heart for cats is amazing.
And I dream of having a t-shirt campaign called Lift the Lid, and or National Lift the Lid Day, where we all lift the lid off our covered litter boxes and see what life is like.
Please, it's that communication of cat parents think cats want absolute privacy, and plus also they don't want to deal with the litter box, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And a lot of problems could be resolved if you just take that cover off the litter box.
Yeah, exactly.
People don't understand the relationship cats have with a litter box. They think it's just a box filled with a substrate in the corner that is the feline version of our bathroom. But for cats, it's a very complex and sometimes scary relationship, especially in a multi-cat household.
Right. Well, Pam, I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us on our Facebook Live. And really appreciate all the work that you do. You work so hard. You're changing the lives of cats, family members, understanding cats. We could work with them, listen to them, and totally appreciate them, especially those perfectly imperfect cats. So thank you so much for joining us here today. And now I'm going to switch it over to our good friend Trisha Montgomery, who is also joining us today on Facebook Live. And Trisha, you want to share with us, you have Moose's March. It's kind of a new initiative. Share with us what you are doing with that.
I do. First of all, an honor to be here. And Pamela, thank you for the work that you're doing. I have to do just a real shout out to Roll Tide. Go. I'm a Alabama grad, and I have actually worked with Tuscaloosa Metro Animal Shelter and their amazing team on the Heart and Home program, which is where we provide NextGuard, HeartGuard, and Frontline to all the animals for intake. So thank you for the work that you're doing, Pamela, and just great job on in that Arm & Hammer grant. I love that. I love that. Again, thanks for being here. This is Moose's March. Moose's March is dedicated to the early detection of pet cancer. It is named after my dog Moose, who passed away of stage 4 lymphoma. I had adopted him from Paws Humane Society when I was the CEO for Paws Humane Society. And we had pulled him from Columbus Animal Care and Control. He was a little bit of a hot mess, heartworm positive, and many strikes against him. I had come home from actually an event in Tuscaloosa and doing something with a couple of other things. And I wrapped my arms around his neck as I tended to hug on him and love on him when I got home. And he had 4 huge nodes that just kind of magically appeared overnight. And then I found 3 more and got him into the amazing team at Rivertown Emergency Center, Drs. Keys and Brown, and some other incredible people. And spoke to Auburn University, and just, it was too late. It was stage 4 lymphoma at that time. I had a very hard time when I lost him, he was gone within about 2.5 weeks with grief. And I found myself on the floor and really not wanting to go on. And anybody who knows me or who knows me personally or knows my personality, that is not like me in any way. And it was a very difficult time for me. And found a couple of groups, Association of Pet Loss and Bereavement, and shout out to my sister Cheryl, and thanks to her for just being there for me. But I thought, I've got to turn this around, and we turned Moose's March, and we turned that grief, that extreme grief, into something of a positive. And so Moose's March was born. We are now our own 501c3 organization, and we are dedicated to the early detection of pet cancer. We have a beautiful sponsor, Volition Veterinary, who has pre-cancer testing. And what we do is with the donations that we received, and we did a really awesome job for Giving Tuesday. With any donations we receive, we go out into the communities of those underserved communities, such as in Columbus, Georgia, in Tuscaloosa, in Mississippi, other locations, and we provide early detection testing for those veterinary clinics within those shelters, making sure that we are getting the same care and affording people, no matter what their income level, their gender, their socioeconomic, whatever, we're giving them the opportunity for hope and quality of life.
Wonderful. Wow. And, you strike on an interesting point there. And I don't think you're the first person to experience grief from a pet and transfer it into something passionate and productive. So, I say turn your passion for cats into action. Many people turn their grief for cats into action also. And so, your path, where it's unique to you, is actually very similar to many people that are out there. And people who come and volunteer for organizations will say, I came here to get pulled out of my grief. That they're in there, they're helping the cats, they're working in the adoption centers, or they're fostering kitties. I can't tell you how many times people I've said, why are you doing this? And they say, well, my cat passed away. I couldn't stand to be home alone. I needed to be somewhere else. And they went to the adoption center and they found a gift that they never would have known that they had. One person became an incredibly masterful medical coordinator, volunteering, and was managing hundreds of cats in their medical. And it was because she had felt grief about this loss of this cat that she'd taken care of for years medically. And she didn't realize she was learning. That cat was showing her what gift she had. And then she went and applied it to, a rescue. And so thank you, number one, for doing what you're doing. It's still work, still takes time. And I really appreciate all that you do. You are new. You just started relatively recently, in the last year.
Yeah, I've been in the veterinary profession in the pet industry and animal welfare for about 25, 30 years now. I started first with the Chicago Veterinary Medical Association as their executive director, went on for my own company, Canine Fit Club, and then I served as CEO for Paws Humane Society. So yes, I've done a lot in my short lifetime.
For sure. And then we have a question here from the audience. And this is it's a question for Pam. Has anyone, and for our audience, if they want to listen, has anyone out there adopted or foster failed a perfectly imperfect cat? So I know I have done that. And so, but if folks in our audience want to put that in the comments too, and can I ask Trisha and Pam, Pam, have you adopted a perfectly imperfect cat?
I have a senior cat who was actually, she was not a senior when I got her. She was done that. So she was just thrown out. But what I do is, I have 2 senior animals now, is the shelter work that I do, I try to help make matches so that if people are interested in adopting either a senior cat or one with physical limitations, I can work with them to help them set up their environment and know what they have to, what they have ahead of them. And that's my best talent, because I do already have 2 senior animals. But yes, my my goal when my seniors finally pass away is to now open up my heart and my home to perfectly imperfect cats on a foster basis to help them, make that transition. So that's my goal. I hope my animals live for a long time, but I love doing that match because some people go in thinking, well, I want to adopt this cat who's blind or is deaf. But I'm so terrified, that the cat won't adjust. But cats really adapt very easily, and you just need a little bit of guidance on what to do. And it's wonderful to see those relationships blossom.
Trisha, what's been your experience? Yes.
So I'm actually I'm staying with a friend of mine, and she's got 3 perfectly imperfect cats right now. One of them was just walking past here, almost onto the computer here. But yes, have adopted, those animals or those cats that no one's they're always going to look over. And I think the experience is so rewarding. I think it was just recently November, Senior Pet Month, and really shining the light on animals and cats and dogs that do not get adopted, that they get overlooked just because of the white around their eyes, and then they're not the playful puppy and kitten. But I think when you open your heart and your home to those cats and dogs, it's so joyful, and you're rewarded greatly for that.
Excellent.
Right. And a
Well-
shout out to the people in the shelters. Arm & Hammer Feline Generous did a unsung hero campaign to highlight those people who really go above and beyond. And, so they deserve a shout out all the time for the work that they do, because a lot of the shelters who know that certain cats will not get adopted or need that extra care, they're there for them. And they really do go above and beyond. So, I am so grateful for the people who volunteer, for the staff, for everyone. Perfectly imperfect cat. It's just your heart is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank both you, Pam and Trisha, for joining us tonight at this Facebook Live event. And here at the Community Cats Podcast, we have our coming up. We have our online cat conference, which is going to be January 28th and 29th. And then we also have a surrender prevention certification workshop, which is January 17th. And we have our next TNR certification workshop, which is going to be on January 6th. We do have scholarships. So we have free scholarships for the January 17th event, as well as the online cat conference. So there is no reason for you not to join. We do have scholarship opportunities. You can go to the communitycatspodcast.com website, and you can find out all the information there. We do have our podcast, which comes out every Tuesday. I would love it for you to subscribe to the show. We have our Facebook page, which you are here. So thank you for following us here on our Facebook page. And I want to just say thank you again for joining us today on our Facebook Live. And I hope everybody has a happy holiday and safe holiday season.